Hey everyone, welcome to Be the Change. My name is Lily Mott, and today's episode is about how change comes when you advocate for yourself. This week's episode features Pelumi Fatayo, who is an I Will ambassador, content creator, and in his words, a young person trying to figure out life, which is a title that I can very much relate to. I've been excited to share this episode with you for quite a while now, so without further ado, let's get started with this episode featuring Pelumi Fatayo.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Pelumi, and I am a I will ambassador. I am a content creator, and I am just a young person trying to figure out life. I guess I have been blessed with to do some amazing things through the organizations like the I Will movement, like the Fair Education Alliance, that really empower young people, and I can't wait to share.
I am so excited to have you on the podcast and for you to share more about the work that you're doing. Can you tell me a little bit more about what inspired you to get started making change? I know for some people, they've been doing it for years and they have just been doing it ever since they were younger. And for others, there's more of an aha moment and it really kickstarts their change making work. Can you tell me about what got you involved in making change?
For me, I think I just saw the opportunities that were there for young people to be part of these conversations. And I just managed to hear about them, apply for them, and put myself in positions that I didn't even know I didn't know about. I didn't know about these opportunities of being able to go to Downing Street. Like I didn't know about all of these things that I've been able to do. The moment for me was when I was in Birmingham and I heard, and there was an organization called Beat Freaks, and they did creative work. They're a great organization. And I said to them, "Oh my God, how can I get involved? Da, 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 da. Like, how can I get involved? What's the, is there any opportunities?" And then yeah, they said yeah. They gave me an email. I think it was their mailing list. Yes, there we go. It was their mailing list email of oh, this is what we're doing, this is what we're about. And then they were like, oh, you steering group. And I said, okay, let me apply. So I applied, I got an interview, and I would have to go to Birmingham once a week or once every month. Yeah, once every month to have the meeting in person. This was before COVID. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And I was at uni and I did it. And before that, I'd done some work with the BYC with the NHS Youth Forum. I've done I've done those works, and I say a statement. I say that young people that have done youth social action have been doing youth social action, but they didn't have the name for it. They didn't have the language to describe it, because I think that when you are involved in activism, you there's an innate ability that you have to be able to recognize opportunities and times to speak up, not only for yourself, but for the people around you, and for you to want to make a change that can be felt and that there can be impact within. And I think that when I did that within Beat Freaks, and was I learned about youth governance, I learned about the paper stuff of organization and activism. I was like, okay, I can be interested. I can then facilitate this more, and then find out more opportunities and speak more for the things that matter.
I love that. And I think that there's this great pattern with social action opportunities where you get started and you get your foot in the door with one opportunity, and then you start to meet people and you get connected with more people and more opportunities. And then all of a sudden you're hooked and you just keep finding new things that interest you. So thank you for bringing that up. I think that's a great point. Can you tell me about the work that you're doing now? What projects and which organizations are you working with now?
Yes. So right now I am working on working with the I Will movement, trying to suggest ideas, trying to build that way. And they're so welcoming and so inviting into that collaboration process. And I absolutely love that. And I think one thing I'm also working on right now is myself. And I think something that I would like to tell young people listening or people just listening is that nobody teaches you how to be a young person, and nobody teaches you how to like navigate how life is going. And sometimes some opportunities that you might have and the people around you that could help you, you might get scared to tap into that and to like access that. And I would willing to say that like you, even though you're scared, you still should, because there's so much greatness that comes from that will come after that. And even if it's not what you expected or what you thought it would be, there's so many lessons that can come from that. And I think I have been scared to like try out for new opportunities because I'm just like, oh my God, what if I get rejected? Because rejection is a big thing. And my issue isn't necessarily about rejection because I feel like that's the industry that we're in. My issue more so comes from how do you navigate those spaces when you already feel like, oh, should I be there? Or like, oh, did I only get this opportunity because of this, because of that? So it kind of can reinforce certain things. But I think at the end of the day, rejection is okay. Like it's actually okay. Like it's not necessarily about rejection here. I think it's more about like, okay, how can you then pivot? How can you then use the opportunities that you do have around you to then progress? And I think that's what I'm working on right now. I think I'm just working on processing how to then navigate what it looks like post being 24, 25 in the youth action, social action space. And what does that mean? And what does that look like for me? And how do I do that in a way that is best?
I think that makes so much sense. And I'm really glad that you talked about those questions as far as should I be here and how did I get here? Because I think those are really relatable feelings in youth social action that definitely should be talked about more and brought to light a little bit more. I also really appreciate that you brought up navigating youth social action and social action in general when you're 24 or 25. And I know it's a bit of a scary question, but can you tell me a little bit more about what's next for you? What are you hoping to do in the future?
I would love to get more into like hosting, facilitating events. Love to get more into producing films that are socially conscious. I did a film called Nexus, which is about a young man and how he had eaten an eating disorder and how him and his family processed that through COVID-19. And it's done. It's an amazing film. I think it really tells a story of what lockdown was like for some people and for the majority of people because we all experienced lockdown. Um, I would like to carry on doing my podcast, which is called Crisis Talk, and we debate, discuss, and dissect issues affecting society. I would love to make that more visual. So, Crisis Talk is part of a collective that I co-founded called Creation Foundation. Co-founded that with Sam, who is the CEO of Young Manchester, and we have an idea to do a film which is about like the Black experience up north and what that means and how Black people interact with different systems. So I would love for that to come out. So if there's any funders listening or any producers or anything, please let me know. And I think what's next for me is I think I am now beginning to take those risks that I need to take and build the life that I want to live, really. Yeah.
I love that. And I think that was really well said as far as living the life that you want to live. I think it's so simple, and I love that. So, as far as your motivation for doing social action and continuing to do this work, are there any words of wisdom or pieces of advice that you've picked up that really motivate you? Does anything like that come to mind for you?
I would say I'll say my relationship with God because I feel like and this isn't me trying to say I'm a perfect Christian. I want to make that clear. But yeah, my relationship with God and how able he is for that I've seen and how I in the way in which like in the opportunities that I've been afforded, in the lessons that I've learned, in so many things, in the favor and the mercy. I think that's what really keeps me going, and I am so grateful, and I think always leading with gratitude as well. With that, grateful to God, grateful to the organizations, and I think like one thing that I would also tell people is that you might feel like you're not meant to be there. You might feel like you don't fit in, but let me tell you, you're there. So the fact that you're there, bask in it, like enjoy it, enjoy the moments because it's wild, and you get crazy opportunities, and you get to be in spaces that you never thought you were in, and really own it in the best way that you can. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, so for me, actually, I have this necklace that I always wear, and written on it in my dad's handwriting, because he's the one that always told me this when I was growing up. But the quote written on it is, "To whom much is given, much is expected." And for me, that's really my motivation for doing a lot of the work that I do. I have been fortunate in so many ways, and so I really feel like it's my responsibility to do my best to give back to others. And of course, it also brings me so much joy to do this work. So, yeah, I think all of your advice that you shared really segues into the last question that I have for you really well. Lots of young people want to make change, but they may not know how to get started with that work. What advice do you have for those people who may be listening?
I would say really learn to believe in yourself that you can. And even though you might not tell yourself that you can, build a good community around you. Try and find a good community around you that can help you and you can work with people. And make sure your idea is yours and it is everything that you want it to be in the way in which it can be in like, because everything has to be confined at first, and then you like build up to that dream. Take those risks at the beginning, like ask for that email address, ask for that person to come on your podcast, say, oh, can I have this opportunity? I know you've offered me this opportunity, but can I do it in this way? Like, really, the advocating that you're doing for other people, do it for yourself as well, so that you can build that life that you want. And do it in a way that is safe, do it in a way that protects yourself, do it in a way that you get to learn more about yourself and the people around you, and do it in a way where you get to share with people, where you get to bring people up with you as well.
Pelumi had so much great advice to share throughout our conversation, and I really felt like we were just scratching the surface of the topics that I wanted to talk with him about. So, that just means that I'll have to convince Pelumi to come back on Be the Change Media Network at some point. I really want to highlight Pelumi's emphasis on taking care of yourself, because I just think that is so important in this work. As Pelumi mentioned, you need to advocate for yourself and your wants and your needs, just like you advocate for others. Figure out what you're passionate about, what brings you joy, and what makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. And then find opportunities to do those things. Prioritize and take care of yourself, because change comes when you advocate for yourself. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and you can find Pelumi on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I included that link in the description of this episode. If you want to talk about anything I mentioned, please reach out to me by email at lily@bethechangepodcast.org or on Instagram at Be the Change Media Network. I am working on expanding Be the Change Media Network, which means bringing you more inspiring stories from amazing guests. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could leave the podcast a rating and a comment, because it will help these stories to reach, educate, and inspire more people. And I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Tune in for my next episode, but until then, be the change you wish to see in the world. Bye, guys.